Welcome back to Barricade Rides, videos for motorcycle enthusiasts. I'm at my favorite place in the world, once again, Emerald City Harley in Lynnwood, Washington. I'm here with my buddy David, and we have a great video for you, Battle of the Touring Bikes. So I selected my three favorite 2021 touring bikes at Emerald City Harley. So all these are available if you decide you want to purchase a bike. So David's gonna take us in for an up and close and personal look at each and every bike. So let's get to it.
Hey everybody, David with Emerald City Harley Davidson. Barricade wanted to do a comparison and contrast of three of our most popular touring bikes. So I'm here to kind of walk you through what are these bikes about, why are the different models, what are the subtle differences between the bikes, what are the similarities. The good news is in 2021, you have more options than ever on the touring bikes. So first of all, these bikes really, the basics of the bikes are identical. They share the same frame. They have similar components in the shocks and the rear ends with the suspension. They've got the same motor. They've got very similar tanks, a little bit dressed a little bit differently. Obviously there's some subtle color differences, things like that. They have the same kind of bags. So really, they're all three excellent touring bikes. They're all three bikes you can get on and ride all day with a lot of comfort. So what makes them different? That's the big question. First of all, let me go over some of the things that are similar. Now, all of these bikes have the Milwaukee 8 114. That's our largest production engine, other than the CVOs. So you'll see it's the 114 cubic inch. It's got this heavy breather air intake. They are 4 valves per cylinder. You got 2 spark plugs per cylinder. It's a single cam. They've gone back to a single cam now with the Milwaukee 8 as of 2017. 2-into-1-into-2 exhaust. So all of this is designed to give you great performance just out of the factory. Really great power. They accelerate well in any gear. They're all 6-speed transmission. All three of them have cruise control. All three of them have ABS standard. All three of them have twin disc brakes up front, single in the rear, so great stopping power. So these are really nicely equipped. They all have the floorboards, which are much more comfortable. They've all got really nice pegs. They're not just the standard round peg. They're kind of a flat peg, a little more comfortable for the passengers. They all come with a 2-up seat. As a matter of fact, these seats are identical. So wonderful, wonderful bike. They've got these extended saddlebags, which come down a little bit lower here. They come back a little bit further. Kind of has that custom look because it wraps around the exhaust in the back.
It's got the scrape.
Yeah, it's got the skid plate there. Easy open, one-touch saddlebags, which of course that's been around since 2014 when Rushmore was introduced. A little scuff there. That's probably from me. Anyway, so the basics of these bikes are really very, very similar. Where you get the difference is in things like the finishing touches, right? So this is the Road King Special. The Special comes with the 114. It also comes blacked out. So it's got a blacked out engine, blacked out frame, blacked out forks, blacked out exhaust. It's a real kind of a tough look. And the Road King, man, it's been around for ages. It's one of the most popular Harleys ever made. It's got this iconic, huge 7-inch, I call it the train light. You know, it's this huge light coming down the road at you. Just a really classic. It's kind of a touring bike disguised as a cruiser, if you will. This bike's also really easy to add things like a windshield for a little extra comfort. But the way it's equipped from the factory is it's just a really great bike to get out and explore the roads and get a little wind in your face. Now, this bike has the speedometer on top of the tank because there is no fairing, there's no windshield. That's really where they put the speedometer. You got your digital display here, you've got your on-off switch, your power switch here, your gas fill on the right, your gas gauge on the left. It's very traditional. That's kind of the way Road Kings have been for decades. They do also feature the same highway bars that all of these bikes feature. This year, Harley kind of came out with this kind of a low profile highway bar, so it still gives you great protection for the engine. You can still mount highway pegs here, but they're a little more low profile, a little sleeker, a little more custom looking, right? And of course this bike, because it's the blacked out special, it's got black bars. Okay, so if we move over from the Road King to the Street Glide. Now the Road King is in the Vivid Black. This is in a color called Blackjack Metallic. It looks almost like a Vivid Black from across the room. You get up close, you can kind of see that real pretty flake in it. It's almost a bluish or purple tint to it, but it's definitely a real tough looking bike. It's a great color. It's new for this year. Now something they've done on the Street Glide that's different is they've gone away from the center fill for the gas cap, which we had on the touring bikes last year. They've gone to this side fill. It kind of streamlines the look of the tank. Some people didn't really like that center fill. It was a little bit cumbersome and kind of got in the way of your handlebars and stuff like that. So having this on the side, it's on the high side, so you're always going to be able to get the maximum amount of gas into your tank. I also really like the emblem they put on this. There's something really cool about that real simple bar and shield. You know immediately it's a Harley Davidson. No question what logo that is, right? Now this is the Street Glide Special. Last year, if you wanted a Street Glide Special, you had to get it blacked out. Guess what? Harley was listening to their customers. There's a lot of Harley riders that just like that traditional chrome look. So now you can get the Street Glide Special with the 114 chromed out. Beautiful bike. It looks really nice against this darker color. Also, the bars are chromed out to match the rest of the bike. And these wheels are amazing. The way they've kind of machined them to show that aluminum through has a real, they almost look like, when you really stand back and look at them, they look like a spoke wheel. But they're cast aluminum, very lightweight, great performance, really balanced, and kind of gives it that custom look with that blacked out kind of behind that silver. Again, twin disc brakes up front, single in the rear, same bags, same seat, same tank size, 6 gallons. Now, obviously, the big difference is the fairing. The Street Glide fairing is mounted to the forks and the handlebars. So as you're riding down the road on this bike, you've got all of this to protect you, right? It really keeps the buffeting off of your chest and off of your head. Super comfortable. This windshield doesn't look like much, but it's just enough to kind of knock that wind over your head. You got a little vent here, and actually the air coming through here is accelerating and hitting the air coming over the top, which actually forces that air up a little bit further. Gives you a little more protection from the wind. The other thing that's nice about the Street Glide fairing, because of the Batwing styling where it comes out like this, your hands are sitting behind that. So you've got great protection from the wind. Your hands stay warmer, they stay drier in inclement weather. So some really nice things about the Batwing. Of course, it's got the awesome touchscreen display. You got access to your AM, FM, you got access to your navigation, you got access to Bluetooth, to your phone, you got a trip computer. I mean, you name it, you've got access to it, and it's all accessible from the joysticks on the handlebars. Now that was there last year, but it's just still a really great selling feature. Super great for those that want to take some serious trips on a Harley Davidson. And then of course, on this one, you've got the display below, you've got your gauges up top, right? So it's very heads up. Everything's kind of right in front of you, nothing on the tank that you have to look down on. Especially those that ride with a full face helmet, you're not competing with your helmet to be able to see what you need to see. Everything is right here, right in your line of sight. I also really like these mirrors. They're just kind of tucked away, but very effective mirrors. So super nicely styled bike. Now we'll take a look at the Road Glide. So there's always a kind of a battle, Street Glide versus Road Glide. It's probably the most common area of contention among Harley riders. Road Glide riders are very dedicated to Road Glides. They love that shark nose fairing. What's the big deal with the Road Glide? How is it different? The main thing is, you'll notice when I get on this bike and I stand it up and I turn the handlebars, the fairing stays stationary. So this fairing is mounted to the frame, which means that any force you take on this fairing is going to be transferred into the frame rather than into your handlebars and the forks. It also means that in areas where, like in a parking lot or moving in a garage or something like that, where you're really turning the bike, it's a little bit less weight on the front wheel. The other thing is that the shark nose sits a few inches ahead of where the Batwing does, so the air is being met a little bit sooner and scooped up a little bit higher. So, you know, it's a matter of styling. Some people really don't like this look, some people really love this look. So thank goodness Harley makes both of them, right? I happen to think that this bike coming down the road with those twin LEDs looks kind of menacing, right? It's a really, really tough bike. Now, some things that people don't like about it are the fact that your hands are not quite as protected by the fairing. Now that can be compensated for with the right gear or with heated grips or whatever. And some people don't mind that. A lot of people will put taller bars on their road glide. So the deal is, we've got a Harley Davidson to fit your taste. This bike still comes in the special, either blacked out or chromed out, 114 engine, same exhaust, same bags, same tank. They've done the delete of the center fill again and gone to this side fill. The other thing that all three of these bikes have this year that they didn't have last year, Harley's gone back to a cable clutch. They tried the hydraulic clutch and it kind of met with mixed reviews. Some people really liked them, some people really didn't like them. The cable clutch is simple, it's proven, it's been around for years, nothing wrong with you using a cable clutch. The other thing that some people really like about it is that you've got a little more adjustability with the cable versus the hydraulic. They still function the same, they still allow you to do your gear changes, all of that stuff pretty easily. So, now the other thing about this bike, sorry man, come back around here just for a second. The other thing about this bike, you've got your gauges down and your display up. Now some people really like having the display up, so it's a little more heads up for their electronics. Just a matter of preference. But the bottom line is you're still sitting on this bike even with a full face helmet and everything you need is still in this area, just a little bit different configuration.
Like, can you get the miles per hour up here as well?
Oh yeah, sure you can. Now I can't show it to you right now, but there's a heads up display that does miles per hour. Let's see if I can bring that up here. This should boot up pretty quick. Excuse me. So you want your miles per hour? There you go. So you got a heads up miles per hour right on your screen there. You've also got all the engine diagnostics. You've got tire pressure monitoring on bikes that have the that enabled or come with that feature. So great stuff. Really good information available at your fingertips. It's still very much, you know, eye level, but just a little bit different configuration. This bike does have a vent that can be open or closed in the front. That's less about ventilation for the rider. It's more about handling the airflow over and under the windshield, right? Has the more traditional mirrors, chromed out to match the rest of the bike. So, if somebody asks me what's the better bike, it doesn't matter what I think. I have opinions on both bikes. I like both of them for different reasons. The thing that matters is if you're trying to decide between the two, you gotta ride both. And you gotta get them on the freeway, because that's really where both of these bikes shine. Honestly, both of them are really comfortable on the highway, but they are slightly different, and that's why Harley makes these two different models to kind of meet the needs, different needs of different people. So Harley riders are pretty discerning. It's their bike. It doesn't matter if there's 400 of them within 4 miles of where they live. That is their Harley, right? And so what's great about these, just like every other Harley, you start with the bike that you like and then you can make it your own. So the aftermarket parts world for Harley Davidson is kind of mind-boggling. I usually tell people, if you can think it, it's probably made. Additionally, there are a lot of guys out there that do customization for Harley Davidson. So you can get a custom-made piece. I mean, of course, all it takes is money. But the bottom line is you can make that bike even more yours than when it rolled out of the show. So, but you really can't go wrong with any of these bikes. They've all got plenty of customization available for them. But any one of these heading down the road on a nice trip, or a week trip, or headed to Sturgis, or down to California, or Arizona, man, you're going to be so happy on any of these bikes. So we'd encourage you to come by and take a look. We'd love to show them to you. We're real proud of the 2021s. They've done a really nice job, some great colors, great features, and come on by and check them out.
All right, there you have it. We've got these 3 touring specials. I would say my favorite, it's a hard one. I'm gonna have to go with the Road Glide.
Wow.
Because that's the bike I want next.
Wow, I'm shocked, because I know you love your Road King.
I love my Road Kings, and like that thing is just beautiful. And I plan on riding my bike 20,000 miles this summer alone. So I would want to do it on this bike as my first choice. What would you say your favorite is?
You know, when I first started selling Harleys, I was all about the Batwing, because that's kind of the style that Harley's had for decades, right? That Batwing frame, yeah, it's iconic. I will have to say, on the highway, I prefer the way the Road Glide feels at higher speeds. There's something about that isolation with their handlebars that's really nice. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
The good news is both bikes are awesome touring bikes. You really can't go wrong.
I'd rephrase that. All 3 are awesome touring bikes. Like I would not be disappointed with any of the 3. But post down in the comments. Let us know which one you guys would choose. And if you guys are interested in one of these 3 beautiful bikes, hit up David. Or hit me up and I'll put you in contact with David. As always, brothers and sisters,
Stay safe.
and ride your ride.